Some of our speakers are running late, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right in, and they can come later. So our first speaker here is with Keep Colorado Green. Please give it up for Matthew Broad.
Hello and welcome to all of you, and thank you for everyone who's come here as marshals to protect us. We know that we cannot march in immunity anymore, so without them, we couldn't be here. So just thank you to all of them. Now, many of you know me as Matthew Broad from Keep Colorado Green. It's the nonprofit I started. We fight for our environmental future, and that's important to me. But first and foremost, before any of that, I am a youth activist. Yes. Heather Heyer was 32 years old when she died last week. A fascist took her life. She was one of the first of the millennials, and at 19 years old, I am one of the last. And if the audience will permit me, I would like to make a statement for my generation.
Sure.
Heather and I, while we were in very different times, 13 years apart, grew up with many of the same influences. We grew up saying the Pledge of Allegiance and reading the preamble. To us, the promises of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness were more than just words. They were an ideal. Were not held to. The promise of peace was broken not only with a terrorist attack, but by a decades-long war in the Middle East. The promise of prosperity was broken by a financial crisis in 2008 that destroyed many of our college savings and from which many of us have not recovered.
Yep.
The promise of justice was broken when the men who caused that crisis did not go to jail. And the promise of justice was broken further with the deaths of Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin. The promise of a future was broken by a world that ignored climate change to the point that it's become too late to undo it. All we can strive for is a habitable planet at this point. The promise of a peaceful world, of a world without Nazis, without hate, without bigotry, was destroyed when Donald Trump was elected and when fascists walked the streets. So more than a generation of dreamers, more than a generation of fighters, mine is the generation of broken promises. Of a future which, while many fought for, was not delivered to us, a future which we deserved, and a future which we will continue fighting for today. It is my belief that Heather Heyer took to those streets for the same reason I march here today, I stand here today, I speak here today. Because she was tired of living in the world of broken promises. Because to her, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness were worth fighting for. Heather Heyer gave her life because we know what it's like to have these promises broken. And frankly, we have promises to keep. When I look out at this audience, different viewpoints, different people, I see more than just fighters. I see people from all walks of life, all different stories, all coming together. Because we know that when Nazis walk our streets, we have no choice but to band together. I'm sure many of you know of the Worrell poem. First they came for the socialist, I did nothing because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, I did nothing because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did nothing because I was not a Jew. And when they came for me, no one was left to speak for me. I fight here today to write a new chapter in history and a new poem, so that in 20 years, when a student is flipping through his poetry textbook, he will come across but one stanza. First they came for the socialists, and we said no!